where we go down the line, pick a bunch of baseball games, and hopefully pick some winners. If not, at least give you some good information to base your bets on. We've got Craig Trapp with us to break down some of these games. Craig, how are we feeling on this super big card of an MLB Tuesday? Because yesterday the card was very pitiful.
Well, not only MLB big card today, full card, you got NBA has 11 games, and then you got the start of the NHL playoffs as well. So I think I have a consensus play. I can even throw that in maybe as a bonus play after we do a little bit NBA. But I love this Major League Baseball card today. It's where my best bet is today. And I think there's 2 or 3 other games we're going to hit on several of these that are pretty good value here for a Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening.
Yeah, hopefully we stuff the stat sheet like Russell Westbrook did last night. Unreal what he's been doing in the NBA when it comes to triple doubles. All right, back to baseball. Let's start off in the AL East, headed down to St. Pete, where the Rays are tanking on the Yankees. The Yankees are road favorites here, minus 128. The total is 8 runs. And the big story here, I think, is the Rays' total domination of the Yankees over the past 2 seasons, 16-5 in that series, with the Yankees only winning 5 games in the past 2 seasons. And obviously the Rays ended their postseason last year. Rays have won 5 of 6 this season, but the Yankees offense is looking a lot better. Giancarlo Stanton is absolutely raking. Luke Voit is supposed to be back in the lineup, who led the majors in home runs last season. So maybe the Bombers are finally back. Craig, what's your play here, or who do you like?
Well, this Rays team is built to beat the Yankees. You know, I mean, teams, it's almost like the way the NFL used to do it. It was like you build your team to beat the best team in your division. I mean, if you're the Bills, now you beat them, you know, to try to beat the Patriots, even though Tom Brady has moved on. But it's kind of like the way the Rays built this team. I mean, they have strike and miss pitchers that, you know, and the Yankees are one of those teams that strike out a lot, you know, Chelsea. So
right.
To me, I think until the Yankees prove it against the Rays, not just against everybody else, because you know, some of those wins were against the Tigers, which, you know, that's how this hot streak started a little bit. So to me, you know, who have you done it against? I like this Rays team, and especially going to give them to me at plus 110. I even say plus 118. I'll just call it plus 110. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Rays until the Yankees prove that they've maybe gotten over that little, you know, hiccup. I'm going to stay and fade this Yankees team against the Rays.
Right. I'm taking an under here just because some of the trends are pointing that direction. You've got the under hitting in 7 of the last 9 home games for the Rays. And then on the road, the Yankees 9-5 to the under, with the under hitting in 6 of their last 7 road games. Because I know everybody thinks about this potent Yankees lineup, but they were absolutely terrible against righties, which is really surprising to me. They're dead last, just even behind the Orioles. I think against right-handed pitching, hitting just 205 this season. And then you look at the Rays, 28th in home offense. They're not good at home. They're actually a better team on the road than they are at the Trapp, hitting just 210. And then they're also bad against lefties. You've got a lefty in Jordan Montgomery going for the Yankees today. The Rays hitting just 222. So I will be taking an under in that one. And then next up on the card, heading down to Atlanta, where the Braves are hosting the Blue Jays. There's been a big line move in this one. Braves now only favored minus 113. Last night, the Blue Jays were plus 140 in some places. Now they're plus 110, I think. So that's a big shift there. The total is still 9. Craig, do you have any thoughts on this one?
You know, this is a tough matchup. At that price last night, I would have said take Toronto.
Right.
I was seeing it at like plus 129, plus 130. I would have said take Toronto. Now that you're, you know, basically you got a minus 105 or even money with Toronto here, I don't know. I think I'd probably look at the total here, and I'd probably look at the over. This Toronto team has gone over 8 of their last 10 games. We've seen some big outputs by Atlanta. It seems like Atlanta's a feast or famine type offense. But I think you take the over in this one. I think it's a safer play. Since you see that line movement, I'm just going to stay away from the side. I'm going to take the over 9 runs, and I think this Toronto offense will do plenty. I think they get 5 or 6 runs on their own, and I think Atlanta will help us out with the rest. So I like the over 9 in this one.
Yeah, I grabbed the Rays last night, first 5 at plus 145, and that's because I'm willing to play Robbie Ray roulette. If you've bet on baseball over the past couple years, Robbie Ray's been one of those pitchers that's kind of all over the place. But I can't even slander him this season because he's been really good. 3 straight quality starts with 0 walks, which is the big thing because Robbie Ray, if you've ever watched him, sometimes he can walk the house and it's really frustrating. But he has been so good this season. I'm willing to take a risk on him, especially when I got it at an underdog price. I think it's minus 110 or plus 105, I think, in the first half for the Blue Jays. I will be taking them in the first 5. And also, this Braves lineup, not good against lefties. They're dead last, besides, I think, the Orioles. Or no, but besides the Tigers, excuse me.
Yeah.
Slandering the Orioles, sorry. Um, Braves are so bad against left-handed pitching. They're second to last in average slugging, on-base percentage, and OPS. So I will take the Blue Jays in the first 5. Let's move on to the Cardinals and the Brewers. Brewers minus 131 here. Total is 7 runs. Cardinals have been one of the hotter teams in baseball. Now very much in contention for the division in the National League Central. So who do you like here? Or what's the play?
Yeah, I mean, teams headed in opposite directions. The Brewers have been struggling. The Cardinals have been hot. Now you see the Brewers as a favorite. I mean, Peralta's been good. Do you trust him to these kind of numbers, though, with not a whole lot of run support? I mean, I don't. I think this is a big underdog day today. I like this Cardinals team, the way they've been playing. I do think Peralta is the better pitcher. But at what number would you take Peralta? To me, I would take him at probably minus 115. That's an extra, 20 units there, 20 points. I don't like that. So to me, I'm going to take St. Louis Cardinals at an underdog price. I think it's going to be a close game. And I just think you take the hotter team at this point of the season. And I think the Cardinals are definitely that team.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals here, but I also like the under. 7 is definitely a very low number, but for good reason. The Cardinals seem to be one of those teams that just play grinded out baseball. They don't walk a ton, but they also don't strike out a lot. Really good contact hitting team. But then you look at this Brewers offense. My goodness, they're bottom 5 in just about every offensive category. So the Cardinals pitching has been good, and they have an even better spot here going against this Brewers lineup. And plus, the Brewers, Peralta's been good as a starter. He strikes out a ton of batters. I don't think the Cardinals strike out a lot, but I think it also helps, when you have an under, the ability to strand some runners on base. And plus, the back end of their bullpen has been fantastic. Josh Hader has yet to allow a home run this season. Devin Williams has really good stuff. So I will take an under 7 in that one. Craig, what's the other games you like today?
Well, I think there's a couple interesting games, and this is what we can talk. Reds, Pirates, I think it's interesting because Pirates are favored with a starting pitching edge after a blowout. I always like teams that get blown out and then come back as a favorite. So I'm a little on the Pirates on that one. Also, I love betting against guys coming off no-hitter. We have the Orioles and John Means off of the no-hitter. So I kind of would be fading the Orioles in that one. So those are the 2. And then the other, of course, anytime Ohtani pitches, and especially against the hated Astros, or maybe call them the cheating Astros. So that's an interesting matchup. And you're getting Ohtani and the Angels as a big underdog after even the Angels won last night.
Yeah, it looks like some of the sharps are with you on the Pirates because it looks like 52% of the bets are on Pittsburgh, but 82% of the money, which means there's a lot of sharp money on the Pirates today. And you talk about coming off that blowout loss, and they do have a solid starting pitcher here today. I don't think that's a bad play. And well, I was going to say they're at an underdog price, but they're not. They're minus 121.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, the Angels and the Astros. I think the only thing I would look there is a first 5 under because you've got 2 strikeout pitchers that do not go deep in games. Ohtani, as good as his stuff is, he doesn't go deep in games. We're lucky if we get to see him for 5 innings. And I don't think I'd play a full game on that one just because the Angels had their starter go less than 2 innings last night against this Astros lineup, still managed to beat him somehow. But that bullpen is going to be stretched especially thin, especially if you're playing at a home run friendly park. Lance McCullers on the other end, the same thing, a strikeout pitcher. He does give up some runs, but nasty stuff when it comes to McCullers. First 5 under, and it's 4.5, which is a pretty high number for a first 5, especially with those 2 guys going. That's the only thing I would look at there. And then fading John Means. I don't know if I'd do that. He's 4-0. He's 4-0 this season, and you get him at an underdog price. That's the thing. I think if he was minus money against this Mets team, maybe it'd be a different story. I know the Mets do hit lefties especially well, but it's hard to fade somebody who's been that good and that consistent, especially when you're getting plus money.
Well, this is the experience of what 17 years I've been doing this. These
Right.
guys with no hitters, you just get so much press after the no hitters, and then of course the celebration. So your routine is not the same. Especially, let's be honest, Baltimore doesn't throw a lot of no hitters. John Means isn't throwing any no hitters. So to me, that experience of interrupting your regular, and now you're against a Mets team. Stroman's been pretty good too. I mean,
Right.
I think I would have loved to see if the Orioles faced a really bad pitcher today. Then they would have been probably favored. Then we would have seen that. So, but that's just experience. Like I said, I'm not big on that game. Those are just the three games that I thought has a little betting interest as a handicapper at least.
Yeah. Even though I will say, if you faded Carlos Rodon after his no hitter, you lost your money.
Yep.
I know we're talking about a bigger sample size, but
Yep.
I think if you look at pitchers that have been consistently good, I think maybe it carries over a little bit more than. I don't know what the thoughts are on Wade Miley. I know everybody was like, "Oh, everybody's throwing a no hitter since Wade Miley did it." Bless his heart, he threw no hitter, and no one was impressed. But I think if the track record's there, that being said, John Means is probably not going to have a 1 ERA the entire season.
No.
We saw Corbin Burns give up 7 runs to one of the worst offenses in baseball. So I think here and there, every pitcher is due for one where they're not as sharp, and that's just the way baseball is.
What do you think? You think there's there's going to be some more starters with the temporary tattoo? Wasn't it? He had the Incredible Hawk temporary tattoo. Wade Miley. So like every pitcher goes out there now with like the Incredible Hawk on his arm.
Oh my gosh. I think it would be funnier if it was like Tweety Bird or something. Something a little bit.
It was a great story because I like these guys that are veterans that have stuck around. And
Right.
I'm not saying Wade Miley is a journeyman, but he's definitely not a guy that has anchored the top of any of these pitching staffs that he's been in. So it's good to see a guy. And hey, I'm a big Cincinnati Reds fan, so it's good to see some positivity after the Reds had that hot start. They've kind of been toiling lately, so it was a good story. Of course, they bounced back the next day and got absolutely whacked. But at least they did win yesterday. And like I said, I'm fading them today. I like the Pirates in that one today. So.
Yeah, I will say it seems like every pitcher that goes to the Astros automatically is just 100% better because Wade Miley was with the Astros, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then we saw Garrett Cole just, come out of the woodwork and just be unreal. Obviously, he's unreal again. And he was good before, but him and Verlander, when they went to Houston, just found the fountain of youth because Verlander, everybody talks about Jacob deGrom this season, how he's being even better at age like 34 or something. I was like, Verlander won the Cy Young at like 38, so I don't really want to hear it.
He's back soon too, right? I mean,
I don't know.
He went out in July or August last year, so I got to be thinking he's probably going to be, here in June or July coming back. But I haven't heard anything about him. That's kind of weird. Maybe not. At his age, maybe will take a little longer.
I don't know. I feel like the medicine is so good these days. Like if Tom Brady can do the things that he can do, money can get you the best doctors, the best diet, the best everything. So
just throw
I
him
think
an extra Bitcoin, right? You just throw him an extra Bitcoin or some Dogecoin.
Dogecoin to the moon.
That's right.
Somebody mentioned the White Sox in the first 5. That's something I'm looking at today because they are the best first 5 team in baseball, which is really impressive. 10-2-3 at home in the first 5, 6-2-2 over their last 10, and 19-4-6 in their first 5 this season for a net gain of plus $997 if you've been betting $100 on each. So definitely something to take a note of for the White Sox game today. Let's move in to the NBA, everybody's favorite. Say that with sarcasm because I will not be picking up the NBA till after the playoffs. Craig, who do you like today?
I think an interesting matchup. We'll rematch, not back-to-back days, but back-to-back games that these two face off. We got the Heat and the Celtics. Heat in Boston again, and these are the bottom. These are the 6 and 7 teams. So if Boston could find a way to turn it around, which would be hard to figure out right now because this Boston team now, Jaylen Brown is out for the year,
Right.
and I think they've won just 3 of their last 7 against the spread, and 4 of their last 6 overall, 4 of their last 10 overall straight up. So to me, I think you have to take the Miami Heat here -2, but the Heat, I think, have proven if they get into the playoffs, they're going to have that playoff magic. At least they feel like that. So I think they just would like to avoid those play-in games. Boston,
Yeah,
at
for
this point,
sure.
I think if you're Boston, you just have to say, okay, it looks like we're going to get the 7th seed. Let's just go in playing our best basketball, because if they get out of there, it's like, are you afraid if you're the Celtics? Are you afraid of anybody? Maybe but the Nets. Are you afraid of Philly? Are you afraid of Milwaukee? Because at this point, it looks like, the bottom, the play-in teams will play those 2 seeds, and most likely if they're the top seed and they win the first game, they're going to play Milwaukee. I got to think the Celtics feel like they can beat Milwaukee. They've done it in years past. So to me, I'm going to take the Heat, though, in this matchup. I just think the Heat are playing better right now. And Jimmy Butler, he's on rare form. I mean, how he trolled Towns in the game against Minnesota when he said, "You're a loser. You're always going to be a loser." I mean, this guy is something else.
Oh, that's
I
middle
love him.
school bullying right
Yeah,
there.
and the best is because the NBA and there's less fans. I think there wasn't that many fans at that game. The audio, you can pick it up on the audio, and of course it's out there on Twitter and everything else. So you can pick it up if you haven't heard it. So, but I do like the Heat here -2. Totals 225. The last game went way over, so I wouldn't talk anybody off the over. But I'm on the Heat as our free play here for Tuesday.
Yeah, the total went up almost 7 points since last night. It was 218.5. And you'd think with Jaylen Brown now being out that it would, trend towards the under. But if you look at these trends, the Heat have 9 straight overs, 9 straight. And then you look at the Celtics, over in 7 of their last 8. So I guess I wouldn't talk you off riding that trend till it goes. And we've seen in the NBA, a lot of these guys will step up. The NBA does have sneaky scorers, and not a whole lot of defense on night to night. So wouldn't talk you off it for sure. Let's take a look at some of these comments if we have not already.
Well, someone was asking about the no runs first inning for that Orioles and Red Sox, or the Orioles and the Mets game, which obviously, like we talked about, Means coming off, and he's been unbelievable all year. And Stroman's been pretty good. So no runs first innings, probably a good one to play. Someone else asked about the Cubs Indians being another maybe possible no runs first inning. I don't really like that one as much as I do the Orioles, and because Orioles also are a terrible offense. I think Chelsea mentioned it. Their offense is bottom of the league in a lot of categories.
What offense are we talking about?
The Orioles.
Oh, yeah. I feel like unless they're facing a lefty, they are not very good. But for some reason or another, they find ways to win games. Like, I know a lot of people were on the Red Sox run line yesterday, but the Orioles managed to get a infield triple off a pop-up against the Red Sox. Don't know if you saw that play, but going back to Nerfies, the no-run first inning, I hate that bet. I feel like the only time I've bet on them, they score 1 run in the first inning and then don't score any for the next 5 or 6 innings. So I think,
or you get the lead-off home run. It's like, right. I didn't make it one pitcher.
I just don't like playing bets that I can lose that quick. It's like when you go to the casino, like I don't want to lose my bet or all of my money on one play. I'd rather play craps, for 30 minutes at least before I go home with no money. So I'm not a big Nerfy fan, but if you like it, or first 5 under, I think that's a better way to go, I think, for me, than sweating out the Nerfy. And plus, sometimes it's juice too. It's not a good value.
Well, I'm guessing with Means and Stroman that it will be, minus 130, minus 140, maybe minus 145. So that's not strong. And then, when DeGrom's on the mound, someone's like, yeah, always a no run first inning. It's huge juice and I would imagine with the Indians, with Bieber on the mound, it will be the same today. But yeah, he said Red Sox hurt him yesterday. Me too, because you had the best team on the road in the Red Sox, the worst team at home yesterday. And of course, the Red Sox didn't. I hate these Monday getaway days where they've stretched them into Mondays. I hate that because, players, like everybody in life, is a lot of people are, routine. And it's like everybody's used to Sunday being the getaway day, and then Monday's your getaway day. I'm sure that did not sit well with the Red Sox. But someone asked about the White Sox. This is my best bet on that game today, so I don't want to talk about that. But Bieber, I think Bieber gets a little too much credit. I don't know about you, Chelsea. He has elite stuff, elite stuff. But it seems like he'll have that one or two batters that he walks, and then all of a sudden you give up a home run, and now it's a 2-run home run, and it seems like he gets absolutely 0 run support because Cleveland offense isn't great. So to me, I always think Bieber is way overvalued. I would be more likely to take the other team than Cleveland when you have to lay these huge numbers. I think today it's like minus 191.
Right. Bieber has an ERA close to 3. So I'm not saying that's bad, and I'm saying he's a great pitcher. But when we're talking about value here, it's just not there because the problem is the Indians team does not give him a whole lot of run support. If you look at both,
and he's
these
facing the Aces, Chelsea. That's the other thing. You're usually facing another great. It's not like if he was him versus, which sometimes now with COVID and everything, you get the odd matchup where it's the starter, the number 1 versus number 3 or 4 guy. But most times they try to match up the Aces. So to me, that's where the problem lies.
Right. And like I said, the Indians just don't score runs. But if you're looking for a contrarian play, the Cubs are 7-3 in their first 5 over in their last 10. And the Indians are hot to the first 5 over as well, 6-4 over their last 10. So we're looking at a nice low total here of 7. Both these pitchers, big strikeout guys, but they do give up runs. Azalea, a 4.50 ERA. He struck out 7 last time out against the Dodgers. But the problem is, these totals are so low, 4-3, 5-4. It can be a low scoring game and it can still go over. If you do like strikeout props, Bieber, I think, is 9.5, but it's heavily juiced. I think it's minus 120 or minus 130, which I think is a little bit too high for my liking. He has struck out at least 8 in 19 straight starts, which is crazy, but I think 10's a little bit too high for me.
To me, I would rather lay, and sometimes you can search these out where, okay, the prop is 9.5 at minus, say 190, and then you can lay another one. You can get it at 10.5 at, say, even money. I would rather lay the 10.5 because to me, I want, I just try I try to never lay anything more than minus in the 160s. Once it hits that 1.7 anything, I'm done. I just don't think there's any value there. I would look at something else. Someone asked about the Rays game. We did talk about the Rays game. I'm fading the Rays. I'm fading the Yankees against the Rays. Rays have been absolute kryptonite for them. So to me, I'm fading. I think you like the under in that one, Chelsea. So I think that's going to be an interesting series because the Yankees look like they have things going. Now can they shake off what has been their kryptonite, not just in the regular season, but like you said, in the postseason last year? This Rays team knocked them out as well.
Right, and no love lost between Kevin Cash and this Yankees team. We've seen some, little brush-ups between these two squads. So I think they'll be nice and motivated. But like you said, the Rays have been the kryptonite for the Yankees. However, people continue to pile on the Yankees. I think it's now even higher priced. They were 128. Last night, I think they're minus 132 in some places now. Obviously not a big change, but I just don't like the Yankees against right-handed pitching. And Kevin Cash knows how to use his pitchers to his advantage. I'm sure he knows that stat too. Yankees hitting just 205 against righties. I think the X factor here is Luke Voit. If he's in the lineup, he led the league in home runs last season and should be a nice boost to this Yankees lineup that offensively, until about recently, they couldn't get anything going. So Giancarlo Stanton can't do it all by himself. So
someone asked about the Pacers game also. The Pacers are in a back-to-back, FYI. So if you guys are betting that, make sure, the Pacers have looked a little better after, the coach and the player the coach is getting in a fight on the bench and all that. But the Sixers, let's remember, they're playing for the number 1 seed. So, be careful in that game. I think there's other better games to be had out there.
Yeah. We did talk about the Angels game. If you want to look back over this when we post it, we did go over quite a few baseball games. So if you didn't hear the game that you wanted to hear, we might have talked about it already. Make sure to hit that like button. go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell if you want notifications every time we go live, because Picks and Parlays is always cooking up something during the day when it comes to live content, all kinds of stuff out there and on our YouTube page. So we've got plenty of stuff rolling along for whatever kind of bet, whatever kind of sport you want to bet on. And always, thanks for the comments, everybody. Leg Show Magazine, nice to see you. Sorry for roasting you the other day. And again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button. We'll see you tomorrow around lunchtime. For Craig, for me, Chelsea, that'll do it.